At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into some pretty heavy stuff today. You know, we can't ignore all the images from Hurricane Helene. It's got us thinking about climate change and all the extreme weather we're seeing and what exactly we can do about it.
Yeah, it's really about putting the pieces together. We've got the science of a warming world, but then how does that actually translate to what's happening in people's lives? And of course, what are governments doing about all of this? Big questions.
And we're digging into your sources to find some answers. The first thing that struck me, they're calling Helene this stark reminder of climate change. Okay, sure. But what made this hurricane so uniquely bad?
Yeah, it goes beyond just those images we've all seen, right? It's about the human impact. The sources talk about the economic devastation. Helene caused billions of dollars in damage. And think about the thousands of people driven from their homes. It's heartbreaking. And this particular storm, it was so bad because of a few things, really. The oceans are warmer, which makes hurricanes more intense. And then you've got increased rainfall, so more flooding. And of course, sea levels are rising, which just makes that storm surge so much worse.
And it's not just hurricanes, is it? I mean, all the sources are talking about this whole wave of extreme weather all over the place.
Absolutely. They highlight the link between climate change and, well, think about the wildfires we've seen, especially out west. Those are getting worse too. And those fires, they don't just impact the immediate area, right? Think about the disruption to farms, the smoke that travels across the country, messing with air quality. Even food prices go up because of that. Everything's connected.
Wow, it really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? So, I mean, this problem is huge. What are we doing about it? It seems like there are some policies, some responses that are, gaining some traction, right? At least that's what some of these sources are saying.
Right, and it looks like a two-pronged approach. We've got to reduce greenhouse gases and at the same time adapt to the changes that are already here. It's a lot. When the sources talk about reducing emissions, they're basically saying we need to get away from using fossil fuels and use more renewable energy sources like solar and wind power.
Mm-hmm.
And sustainable land management, that's a big one too.
Okay, I see. And adapting, does that mean building seawalls or developing crops that can handle drought conditions? Basically learning to live with a climate that's already different?
Exactly. We have to accept that climate change is here, and we have to change our infrastructure, how we grow food, even our healthcare systems, to deal with it. One of the sources gave this interesting example of urban planning, like designing cities to handle extreme heat waves better, using more green spaces, having cooling centers. Pretty cool stuff, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. So bringing it back to the U.S., the sources talk about two specific bills, the Inflation Reduction Act, and then there's the Build Back Better Act. Those are pretty different, right?
They've both got the goal of addressing climate change, but they take different paths.
Yeah.
So the Inflation Reduction Act, it actually passed last year, and it focuses on giving people incentives to switch to a cleaner economy. So things like tax breaks for using renewable energy, investments in green technology, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It's a big step for sure, but there are those who say it's not enough.
Yeah, and then there's Build Back Better. That one seemed a lot more ambitious, but it never went anywhere, did it?
True. Build Back Better was huge. It included the clean energy stuff, but went way beyond that. There were all these social programs in it trying to deal with how climate change affects vulnerable communities the most. It just never got enough support in Congress, sadly.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about what's happening in the U.S., but this is obviously a global issue. The sources mention the Paris Agreement quite a bit. Can you give us the rundown on that?
Sure. So the Paris Agreement, it's kind of a big deal because it got almost every single country on the planet together, all agreeing to work on keeping global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius and ideally aiming for 1.5 degrees compared to, back before the Industrial Revolution. It was this huge moment for countries actually cooperating on climate change.
Okay, but the sources also mentioned some problems with it. What makes this agreement so shaky?
Well, the biggest problem is that there's no real way to enforce it. The Paris Agreement basically relies on countries setting their own goals and then, hoping they'll actually stick to them. There's no global police force making sure they do. And there's always this temptation for countries to say, hey, we need to focus on our economy right now, even if it means sacrificing those long-term goals for the planet.
That makes sense, but it's also kind of scary, isn't it? So we've got policies, agreements, but it seems like we're running out of time. It's a lot to keep track of.
I know, it's a lot, but that's what makes these deep dives so important. We've talked about how urgent the climate crisis is, shown some of the policies being put into place, and also been real about the challenges, both with actually getting things done and with getting everyone to work together.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, if we're relying on countries to do the right thing, what happens if it's just not enough? What happens then? I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.